Dante Romano was born into power, the kind that came with blood-stained hands and whispered names. As the only son of Don Romano, head of the most feared Mafia family in southern Italy, Dante had more wealth than he could ever spend: sprawling villas, fleets of luxury cars, and enough influence to make politicians bow. But despite the opulence, Dante felt hollow. Women were drawn to him like moths to a flame, but it was always the same. They saw the air, the money, the status, never the man beneath the tailored suits and the cold, dangerous eyes. He craved something real. One evening, in the dimly lit study of his coastal villa, Dante poured himself a glass of brandy and came to a decision. He would disappear from the gilded cage of the Romano Empire for a while. Not as Dante Romano, heir to a criminal empire, but as an ordinary man. The next day, he bought a battered old taxi. He swapped his Brioni suits for worn leather jackets and scuffed boots, blending into the cobblestone streets of Naples. If a woman could love him this way, without knowing who he truly was, then maybe, just maybe, it would be love worth fighting for. For weeks, Dante ferried strangers across the city. Some were chatty, others silent. Some smiled politely, others barely looked at him. Then came her, Isabella Moretti. She stepped into his cab one rainy afternoon, her dark hair damp, her eyes soft yet guarded. She spoke little, but when she did, it wasn't about money or material things, it was about the small joys in life. She asked about his day as though she saw the man and not the driver. When they reached her stop, she paid the fare and thanked him sincerely. No lingering looks, no flirtation, just genuine kindness. And that was enough to make her unforgettable. Days turned into weeks, and fate kept bringing Isabella back into his cab. She worked long hours, sending money to her ailing mother and keeping her younger siblings fed. She had so little, yet her heart was full. Dante found himself looking forward to every ride. For the first time in years, he felt seen. One evening, in the fading light of the harbor, he decided to test her. He told her that taxi driving barely paid the bills, that he often went to bed hungry. Her response was a gentle smile. "Money isn't everything, signore. It comes and goes. Kindness lasts longer." Dante's chest tightened. She had passed the test. He knew he had to tell her the truth, but fear gnawed at him, fear that she'd look at him differently once she knew. When he finally confessed, in a quiet piazza under the shadow of an ancient church, her reaction stunned him. "I fell in love with the man," she said softly, "not the empire." But not everyone shared her acceptance. When Dante took Isabella to meet his parents, Don Romano and Donna Sofia, the temperature in the grand villa dropped the moment she walked in. They didn't see her kindness, only her humble origins. "You're the heir," said of Don Romano. "You need a wife who can strengthen our alliances, not a girl from the slums." The words stung Isabella, but she held her head high. Dante's voice was sharp with defiance. "She's the woman I love. That's all that matters." But love was not enough in the Mafia. Don Romano cut him off from the family fortune, stripped him of his place in the organization, and banished him from the villa. Dante moved into Isabella's modest apartment in a crumbling building by the port. He traded the luxury cars for a job fixing engines at a local garage. He had nothing except her. At first, Isabella was happy, but watching Dante, once the Prince of Naples, now covered in grease and exhaustion, gnawed at her heart. Night after night, she whispered the same plea. "Go back to your family, Dante. You deserve better than this." Reluctantly, Dante returned to his father's study. Don Romano welcomed him back, with a condition. "You'll marry Bianca Valario, daughter of Don Valario," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. "It will unite our families and secure our territory." Dante's stomach turned. Bianca was everything Isabella wasn't. Spoiled, vain, hungry for status. But refusing meant losing any chance to protect Isabella from the dangerous ripples his exile had caused. He agreed. When Dante told Isabella, her eyes brimmed with tears. She refused to let fall. Their love had been a stolen season, and it was over. The wedding was an extravagant display of Mafia power. Gold, champagne, and veiled threats, hidden behind polite smiles. Bianca reveled in the luxury, spending her days draped in diamonds, throwing parties, and treating servants like dirt. Dante avoided her, his heart locked away. Meanwhile, Isabella discovered she was 4 months pregnant. Twins. Fear gripped her. She wouldn't drag Dante back into danger. She'd raise the children alone. One afternoon, fate intervened. Donna Sofia spotted Isabella in the market, her belly heavy, her face pale from hardship. When Isabella admitted the truth, that the twins were Dante's, Donna Sofia was overwhelmed with both joy and guilt. Without telling her husband or son, she moved Isabella into one of her private villas, ensuring she had servants, security, and care. She planned to keep the secret until the twins were born. 2 weeks later, they arrived, a boy and a girl, perfect and healthy. Donna Sofia brought Dante to the hospital under the guise of visiting a sick friend. When he stepped into the room and saw Isabella holding the babies, his world stopped. "They're yours, Dante," his mother said, tears in her eyes. What followed was a whirlwind Dante's reunion with Isabella, Don Romano's shock when he... But Don Romano, holding his grandchildren, no longer cared. He told Valario the deal was off and ordered Bianca out. Humiliated, she left in silence. Peace settled over the Romano villa for the first time in years. Dante, Isabella, and their twins became the heart of the family, proving that in a world ruled by blood and power, sometimes love is the most dangerous and most rewarding gamble of all. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed.